but I am lucky enough to have been involved for the last 9 years in the tourism industry. And generally the tourism industry is an extremely happy place to be. It's about giving people great experiences, it's about holidays, it's about good times, it's about sharing moments with your friends and family. So I've been in a pretty lucky place in that sense. Since coming to Australia on the 1st of July 2009 to start the best job in the world, my life has been about going out there and doing the best things that I can. Having adventures, meeting great people, telling stories through my digital channels, and really going out there and challenging myself. Putting a smile on my face every morning is really one of the things I try and do. If I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, which I do most of the time at the moment to go training, I like to get out of bed, I like to embrace the day, see the sunrise, and say hello to as many people as I can on that run, because life for me is all about challenges. This was my best photo of last year. Anybody recognise this lake? And it's definitely not Wivenhoe. This is Lake Atabad in the north of Pakistan. It is an incredible part of the world. Basically the confluence of 3 mountain ranges, the Karakoram, the Himalayas and the Hindu Kush Mountains. It is a place where you're told not to go by the Australian government and the English government and the US government. It is on the border of Afghanistan, but it has got some of the friendliest and most welcoming people I can genuinely tell you I've ever met in my life. This was part of a big adventure from last year called The Best Life in the World. And it was really the progression from the best job in the world, the best job in the world is even better, the best job in the world through to a best expedition in the world that I did, through to the best life in the world. This was really for me the moment where my realizations and my dreams of a year of planning and predicting where I was going to be for this journey to meet these amazing people was really coming to a head. And this was the best part of a year on the road. Just the other side of the Himalayas, there's an amazing country called Tibet. There's an amazing area there where that infamous man, the Dalai Lama, comes from. And he determines happiness in this way. Happiness is determined more by one's state of mind than by external events. It's about how you approach the day. It's about how you take on your relationships with people. It's about waking up with a smile on your face and conveying that to other people, about giving them the feeling that you have. If you get out of bed and you feel good, let people know, bring them into your world, make them feel happy. It comes from peace of mind, warm-heartedness in every aspect of our lives. Sometimes life isn't as easy as just getting out of bed with a smile on your face. Family, work, and other pressures can really lay heavy on your head, but it's being able to be resilient and building yourself as an individual to get through those tough times. Because if you can get through the really tough times, all the little things that were a problem in the past suddenly become minor hurdles to take on. So how does this equate to business? How do you take happiness and put it in a business sense? Well, like I said, travel and tourism is a really happy place to be. It's a wonderful industry to be part of, but it's about having the right people in the right places. If you run a tourism company and you're dealing with tourists every single day and you're dealing with a conveyor belt of new faces, how do you maintain that smile? How do you keep that happiness? How do you sell this beautiful part of the world to other people? It's about working from the early days of building a company and how you get recruitment right. It's not just about sitting down and looking at a resume, because believe me, if they'd have employed me on my resume, I would never have got the job. I'm someone that loved school, sort of. I'm someone that loves college half as much. I'm someone that loved university half as much again. It was really a means of getting through these moments in life that are there and expected from us. It was about getting an education, but at the end of it I came out and I went, what am I going to do with my life now? I've got this amazing head of adventure, I've got this amazing idea that I want to go and explore the world, but really is my degree going to carry me there? When you start to look at people that are recruited into jobs these days, quite often everyone arrives at the table with the same qualifications. But what sets them aside is their life experiences. What grows people? What gives them a better headspace to be a great employee down the line than other people? And life experiences for me have been something that's really given me an appreciation of the planet, an appreciation of other cultures. It's made me realise that the things that make me unhappy day to day in my normal life back here in Australia aren't things that we need to worry about so much. There are much greater issues going on all around the world every single day, and we become very au fait with them. We see the news, we hear there's been a bomb go off in Paris and there's 100 people killed. we all go, oh my God, it's the worst thing that's ever happened. The next day there's a bomb goes off in Iraq and there's 1,000 people almost killed. And we all just nod our heads and expect it to happen. Happiness is about going out for me and meeting new people, having new experiences and being able to bring those back into my daily life. Being able to go around and see these things is something that I've done for the last 10 years. Being able to bring that happiness into an environment where you work is a very tough thing to do. If you go out and you have a great weekend with your friends and your family, going to work on a Monday morning is often considered the hardest grind to do. But if you can take that energy, if you can take that passion and that enjoyment you've had at the weekend and you can slide it into your Monday morning, it feels more like a Friday afternoon. These are some of the people that I met during the 6 months of doing Best Job in the World that turned around to me and said, you think you've got the best job in the world? I have genuinely got the best job in the world. I could have honestly written a book about the number of people that thought they had a better job than I had at the time. Top left is a girl called Vanessa. She was a dive master out on Fantasy's pontoon on the Great Barrier Reef. A bundle of energy, the most life, more life than I've got. Another ranger, but more life than I had. She was underwater, talking bubbles, talking to the fish, getting out and talking to all the people that were coming on these trips. And she was just one of those people that you'd love to have at the front of your company. The guy on the right, Greg Ross, is a helicopter pilot. And we had a Sky News TV crew in the back of the helicopter as we were flying over Whitehaven Beach. And I remember over the headphone, the Sky's reporter turning around and saying, so Ben, tell me why you've got the best job in the world, as he looked over Whitehaven Beach and Greg came over the intercom and said, he hasn't got the best job in the world, mate, I have. These people genuinely love what they do. Now, bottom left is an icon of Queensland and Australia. At the southern tip of the Great Barrier Reef is an island called Lady Elliot Island. And there's a gentleman called Pete Gash who lives and breathes the environment. He lives and breathes eco-resorts, and the passion for the underwater world is everything he does. I'm lucky enough to call a very good friend of his, and he loves what he does. Every day he has new people coming on that island, but every day he greets them with the same happiness and smiles, although it was his first time for meeting them. And the bottom right is another amazing gentleman up in Cooktown called Willie Gordon. Willie is really the spiritual home of Australia. His family obviously have been here for generations and thousands of years, and being able to take that passion of his family and his connection with the land, something he now does with his tourism industry. And it's so iconic in the north of Australia, in the north of Queensland. If you ever get to Cooktown, look up Gurruby Tours and go and spend some time with that man, because he's got a warm passion, he's got a heart of gold, and every single day, happiness is his currency. So this was 2015 for my wife and I. This was our journey that we took from Singapore to London. It was a 54,000 kilometre drive. It took us through 32 different countries. We had to divert around Iran because they wouldn't give me a visa because I had media connections. So we had to do a 6,500 kilometre detour through 5 countries to get to Mum and Dad in London for Christmas. But what it allowed us to do was meet some amazing people. We called it the best life in the world. Not because it was our best life, but because we wanted to meet other people who genuinely thought that they had the best life in the world and try and tell their story. This was a wonderful lady we met in the first 10 days of being in Singapore called Ginny. Ginny is a very high-flying businesswoman. She's also a birth coach, and she's also a fantastic bubble of energy. She's a marathon runner. She's got an amazing son. She's a single mother, and yet she loves her life and loves the passion of what she does. And her quotes really say that happiness comes from getting through the hard parts of life. The harder life is, the more blessings you get. I see that when I run my marathons, when I deliver children, and when I work in the city. And that's about setting that hurdle. If you are resilient, if you're tough, and if you can jump over that hurdle, the next time you get there, it'll be half as tough to get over it. This is a very interesting character. So Bella is transgender. Bella is a receptionist at a backpackers in Malaysia in the Cameron Highlands. And we bumped into Bella at about 10 o'clock in the evening. It was hot, it was humid, it had just finished raining. And we bumped into Bella as she was about to close down the desk, and we turned up in the Land Rover, and she said, "Hi, how are you?" And we'd been travelling all day. Okay, I've got to say this now. My Land Rover is 30 years old. It has no air conditioning. Do not ever travel to London from Singapore with your wife in a Land Rover with no air conditioning in Malaysia's summer. It is a recipe for disaster. Bella welcomed us at 11 o'clock at night as we got to this backpackers. She put us up, she made the room for us, she got everything ready, and we said, how come you're so happy? She says, because I love what I do. So we wanted to find out more and dig deeper. And we found out that Bella had had a really troublesome last 10 years, having the changeover from being a full male to a female. But the story that she had was about the support she'd got from her family and the happiness that they'd given her. It was so important for her to feel accepted. And that was the most important thing, apart from family, nature, walking through the forests, and of course every girl's dream is going shopping. We then ramped it up a gear when we got to Malaysia, and we had an appointment in Kuala Lumpur with the CEO of AirAsia, Tony. And Tony is a really out there guy. He's got the same mentality as Richard Branson. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the competition that Branson and Tony had about who could win a Formula One race first. Ended up with Richard Branson dressed up as a stewardess with full makeup on, serving Tony. It's a fantastic thing, Google search it, this one. But Tony believes that there's a very different mentality to what most companies think, and that's all about customers are number one. Tony believes that if you make your employees number one and you make them feel wonderful and make them feel wanted, that will be reflected through the industry, and the customers will be the ones that end up with the outcome of feeling 100% brilliant and happy. And this was a recommendation from when I was talking in February last year, just before I left. There was a recommendation of people to go and meet on the way. I said if you'd met anyone in your travels through any of those countries that we could go and meet who you thought was genuinely happy, who would it be? And someone's hand went up and said, I know a guy. He works on the main beach in Phuket. His name's Woody, and he drives a tuk-tuk. So we went from CEOs to tuk-tuk drivers. And Woody is this softly spoken gentleman who sits there with his tuk-tuk, and he engages people. He looks them in the eye, he smiles at them, and all of a sudden, he's a customer winner. He is an incredible guy who knows how to turn happiness into sales. He's the sort of person that you want at the front of your tourism business. And Woody turned around and said the most important thing that he's got in his life are family, children, and his mum and dad. Wear a smile, as it's great for your business. So there's 10 quick points here that I've tried to go through about how you can have a happier way of life. I'm going to read them straight off here. So what do I do to help others? That's one thing that quite often when we're stuck in the groove of work and we're trying to get through the inbox, we turn around and say, it's all about me, it's all about getting to 5 o'clock and sifting through my stuff. But how can you step aside from that and help other people when they need you? What matters to you most, and when do you connect? Because relationships are the core to what getting on in this world is all about. It's about how you can feel happier in yourself. If you go out and help other people, you feel as good as they do at the end of it. It's an important thing, relationship building, and connections and networking events just like this are how you can meet more people, extend your social circles, and have a good time and feel happier at the end of it. For me, I love physical challenges, I love taking on the planet, I love going on big adventures, I love being active and healthy because I run on endorphins and serotonin. I like feeling good, and that involves me getting up early in the morning and seeing a sunrise and making sure that my world is the best place I can live in. But I also like to get away from it. And our Best Life in the World journey was all about documenting our adventure, but there were certain times where we said, let's turn the modem off, let's turn the computer off, let's sit outside tonight, light a campfire, and just absorb the world around us. And they're the most memorable moments because you're living in the moment. You're having that experience. Unplug, get away from the real world, and live in the beautiful world for just a moment. When do you stop and take notice? Exactly that. When do you get away? At the weekends, it's fantastic. I have a house in the city now, and I love to do things around the house, and I do my painting. But when do I actually get away from that normality of life? When I put up a tent, when I get away and I live somewhere different, just for a few hours, whether it's going camping on the Noosa North Shore or to Fraser Island, just unlocking yourself from the normality of life and going out and doing something for you and your family and invite some friends and make it special. So what new things have you tried recently? Now, I'm an avid subscriber to National Geographic magazine. I've subscribed for the last 20 years because I open it up and I love ripping open the brown envelope and seeing those photos and going, oh my God, I've got to go there one day in my life. I subscribed to New Scientist magazine a month ago because I picked one up in the Virgin Lounge and I read it and I was fascinated. I took it on the plane, I stole it from there and took it on the plane. But it was just a fascinating new world that I hadn't really thought about before. So what do you do that's new, whether it's a sport or whether it's picking up a new magazine or whether it's reading a different sort of book? Try something different that just engages your brain in a different way and makes you think outside of the box. How do you bounce back in tough times? Well, we've done that one. That's about resilience. That's about how you get over that initial hurdle that we have that's that big problem. And what are you feeling good about? Because they're the important things. Celebrate the good things. Sometimes we get bogged down with the day-to-day. We get sad, we get lonely, but if you can take the good moments and you can excel in them, and you can bring other people in to share those moments, whether they're family meetings, whether they're going for a walk with the dog and talking to the other person on the other side of the park with the dog. There's small little things every day you can do that make you feel good. Social media is a big way to take yourself down, and I am afraid I'm a subscriber on all of those social connection networks that are up the side of the screen. I love my Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, but they're also a way to look at other people's lives and go, mine's not actually that good at the moment, is it? Why aren't I that thin? Why aren't I that fast at my running? Why don't I do this? It's often a time to take us down when we can actually disconnect from it and look away from social media, look away from technology, and just think about us and feel celebration in who we are and what we do. Be part of something bigger, and I've yet to do these ones. I need to take time out to volunteer. I work for a couple of charities, but just to take time out to go and volunteer for no reward apart from making someone else's life slightly better. And the one at the end there, I was going to say, immerse yourself in the community, have children. That's something where suddenly someone's life is much more important than your own. And again, I've yet to tick that box. Very, very quickly, 5 games that I like to play that make me feel slightly happier in my day-to-day life. Okay, this is one I do a lot. When I'm running, it's called I Say Hello, You Just Reply. So I'm running along in the morning, and I just say, someone with their head down walking the dog, good morning, and I'll say it to absolutely everybody. And I will try and score out of 10 how people do. And I'll put it on Twitter. 3 out of 10 today, Brisbane. Smile, wake up, come on, the sun's out. And I find the further you get away from Eagle Street Pier, the higher the score you get. Pick up a piece. Now this is Pete Gash's lovely little story. Pete Gash, the lovely guy that runs Lady Elliot's Island, turned around to me one day and said, Ben, we could all make this planet a much better place by doing one thing every day. 23 million people live in Australia. If every day we picked up one piece of litter and put it in the bin, that's 23 million pieces less on the streets. So I'm out for my run in the morning and I'm looking at a good 10k time and I see a McDonald's wrapper. And I'll stop at 10k time and I grab it and I put it in the bin and I feel slightly better about myself. It's an easy, simple thing to do. Thank yous are very, very simple over email. Tap, 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 send, gone. Take some time, and I've done this for the last 3 weeks in a row, knowing this was coming up, to put pen to paper and write a little letter, just saying to somebody, no matter who it is that's touched you in your life, write a letter, put it in an envelope, put it in the letterbox, and send it off. There is nothing more rewarding than receiving a piece of mail. It's something tangible. It's not just an email that was sent in the flash of a moment. It's something beautiful. Always have your next adventure or flight or holiday or something planned. It gives you something to look forward to. If you get stuck in the 9 to 5 and it's Monday to Friday and you can't see light, think about having something else planned, because then by the end of that week, you'll be looking forward to it, and you've only got 3 weeks to go, then 2 weeks to go, then all of a sudden, it's your happy place. You're having a holiday. And this is in the words of an adventurer in the UK called Dave Cornthwaite, who always has this mentality on life. Say yes more. I hope in a little way I've made you think a little bit more about happiness and how you can approach your day and how you can approach the people around you. And then you get your Land Rover and you drag your wife onto it, you get a great photo and you go, yeah, we're happy. Thank you.